If you want to have a dialogue,
I'll have a dialogue.
we'll have a dialogue. If you want to have a monologue, I'll give you a few minutes to say whatever you want to say.
Hey, I'm going to give you a chance to talk, man, but I'm not going to sit here and play the game where you set up a false set of assumptions and they expect me to follow. I want to talk to you about
You assume the same thing for me, though.
This conversation's intense, but don't let that fool you. It's a matter of conviction. And if you only focus on the tone, you're going to miss the most important question asked.
Let me ask you this, sir. Could you be wrong about everything you think is true?
Of course. Can you?
No.
And I can be. I admit it. Can you be?
Correct. I cannot.
You can't be wrong, but I can. That's not really fair because I just admitted I could be wrong and you say I can't be wrong.
Would you like me to go into detail?
No, I'm not done yet. That takes a level of arrogance that is unchristian.
It's not. Your premise is faulty, your conclusion is faulty. If you'd like me to expand on my answer, I'll be happy to do so.
No, I really don't care about this because this is really a detailed point.
So you're not interested in answers?
No, because I already got your answer.
The debate here isn't about science or Bible verses. It's about authority.
You already got your answer. You just
So then why don't you move on? If you have my answer, why can't you move on?
Yeah, but I'm saying it's not fair to expect me to be open-minded and you shouldn't be. That's not honest.
Brad, do you believe we should be so open-minded that our brain falls out? Question number 2, do you believe in absolute truth?
Yes, but whether or not we can get there is a different question.
So you may not be there.
And neither might you.
You don't know what I stand for. If you believe in absolute truth, where do you get absolute truth within your worldview?
Logic and evidence, the same place you should, not magic stories.
Think about it. Who gets to decide what's true? When worldviews actually collide, what actually will stand? Let's break down what Mark Spence is doing here and why every Christian who desires to evangelize should understand.
Each man needs to determine for himself how much truth he can handle. You said you believe in absolute truth.
Yeah.
Where do you get absolute truth within a world where everything is continually evolving and changing?
First of all, I'm open to the idea that absolute truth might exist, but I might not have it. It's called being open-minded, which I said before.
I understand
told you,
that. Where
if
does it
somebody can
come
come
from?
up with something, let me give you a really obvious example from astronomy.
very good.
If somebody can come up to me and prove that gravitation doesn't work, I will change my mind about gravitation.
Are you serious?
Because, of course, because that's honest.
It's not honest.
That's how we do things.
It's not honest.
Really? It's not honest to say I could be wrong?
About gravity?
Of course.
Okay.
Einstein did it with Newton, didn't he?
Okay, could you be...
Oh, but we're not going to talk about that because you don't know anything about science.
Science simply means knowledge. Here's the
Really?
thing.
Tell me all about it because I've been doing it for 20 years. Teach me about
Relax,
science.
Brad. You're so
At home.
upset.
I just, honestly speaking,
Brad.
sir, and you should film this, I don't like you.
And I love you, Brad.
Or you don't love me. You love the idea that you are superior to me in some knowledge sense of the word.
Brad, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Can I ask you one question then?
If you allow me to have a dialogue, I'll be happy to do. I'm going to have to cut you
Then
off,
I will
though,
ask
if you don't want to have a dialogue.
And I will ask you a very simple
Very good.
question. Make sure to catch this on film. Explain to me why every college in the country teach evolutionary biology, teach that the universe is over 13 billion years old, teach that the earth is over 4.5 billion years old, and somehow you and your infinite wisdom with your organization deny every college in the country is right. Explain to me why you're so much more knowledgeable than all of us who spent 15 years in grad school. Explain that.
Because I have insight from God who has greater
We'll play a little bit more. He has
greater
insight from-
authority than these universities.
So your invisible friend in the sky told you so. That's what you're telling me.
I wouldn't use that terminology, obviously. It's very offensive.
Your answer is, I know more than all these scientists because God gave me some kind of insight.
I would say there's a greater authority on the issue of academia, and that greatest authority has spoken.
Really?
Yeah.
And how did God speak to you?
He speaks to us through his word.
And did God somewhere along the line say evolution was wrong?
He lays out the creation of man, how man is intelligently designed. Are you intelligently designed?
No, I'm not. Neither are you.
C.S. Lewis said, in order to call a line crooked, you need to compare it to that which is
stop
straight.
right there.
Do you believe in that which is straight?
Okay, so let's talk about like what just happened here. One, he said, which is an appeal to authority. Here's all of these scientists, okay, who have all of this experience. I've done 15 years of academic work, right? To get to where I'm at today. What's the problem with that argument?
That I've done, okay. It's like, so what?
Yeah.
So what? You've done 15 years of study, and so therefore, like, you become the arbiter, in a sense of what's right and wrong.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So from a moral standpoint.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with appeals to authority? Like in the sense, like you have all of these. Well, I know all these scientists, and it's like, all right, cool. Like those are atheist scientists.
Yeah.
They share your worldview in some way, and when they share your worldview, is there a possibility? This is what Mark asked earlier. Could you be wrong about how you're observing the world?
Right.
We're saying
absolutely yes.
We're saying you're radically wrong.
Right.
Yeah, and the one who holds more authority than you do is the creator of everything. That's why I think it's important what Mark did there, is he's saying, and a lot of people will go, oh, come on, man, like these guys are pros. They are, no doubt. And I'll bet you, Dr. Brad's forgot more about evolutionary biology and all that other stuff. He's forgotten more than I know.
Sure.
Because of, he's an expert in his field. But you could be a really foolish expert. Just because you're an expert doesn't make you right.
Yeah, because the authority these guys are standing on is a faulty authority.
Yeah.
So they're working from this faulty premise.
Yeah, about
and continuing
the way the world is.
And continuing to get faulty results.
And they're building an entire they've built an entire educational system around it.
And a worldview.
Right. Now, Thomas Kuhn was not a Christian. And if you've read his Scientific Revolutions, Thomas Kuhn would say, Dr. Brad, well, you're wrong. He reads scientific. We know there's something famous that came out of Thomas Kuhn's Scientific Revolution. People use it. It's just a common term thrown around all the time. Paradigm shift.
Yeah.
We have constant paradigm shifts in the way we see the world. Brad just said a moment ago that I could be wrong, and he looked at that as a virtue, did he not?
Oh, absolutely.
So could all the scientists that have built an entire education system around evolutionary biology. They could be wrong, radically wrong. So to appeal to them and say, are you're telling me that you, more than all of these other people, Brad, you would even have to admit, yes, that's possible. Mark could be right and you all could be wrong.
Right.
Based on what I just said, Thomas Kuhn would say that's possible, that you all could be wrong and Mark could be right. And Thomas Kuhn wasn't a Christian.
Kuhn.
Huh?
I never even heard of Thomas Kuhn.
Thomas Kuhn wrote Scientific Revolutions. And what he talks about in Scientific Revolutions is this idea that we had these assumptions about the way things were. And as those have been challenged over time, we've grown in our understanding. And in some cases, we had committed our entire lives to certain developments in science that were dead wrong. And we had to, in order to move forward in certain scientific understanding, we had to completely scratch those things. And some people built their entire careers on them.
Yeah.
Entire careers. Multiple generations, by the way, Dr. Brad. Multiple generations. So it's not like the stuff that we thought, I mean, bro, like, let me, I've talked with my mom about this before, but like, think about like things like chemotherapy.
Okay.
I will bet you, and I won't be around to be able to know, but I would be I'm a bet man that 100 years from now, as AI, like they use AI to start developing cancer treatment and specifically targeting the cancer cells, they're going to look back on what we do, dousing people's body with total poison, killing them, going, well, we didn't get the cancer.
Like bleeding people out and stuff. Like
they're going to look at that back, like leeching and stuff.
Yeah. Putting leashes on dudes.
I can't believe they did that to people. People went through hell, man.
Yeah.
Some people survived it. That's surprising, I think people are going to look back at chemotherapy that way. So
might not be wrong. Yeah.
Dr. Brad, like you can't use that argument. And he should know better. Because yes, even like I said, even Thomas Kuhn would say, yes, you could be wrong about everything that you're studying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. There could be a breakthrough discovery, let's say based on the biblical worldview, because I believe the biblical worldview in its creation account is going to be consistent with how the world is. And so anytime you do your science around the consistency of the biblical worldview, you're going to have breakthroughs. And I guarantee you discoveries are going to happen. Like when Mark says, do you think you're intelligently designed? Look at his response. No, and neither are you.
It's the wild response.
Okay, yeah. Brad, how do you know that? Because let me say this. If you just step back and look at your body for a brief moment and how information laden it is, you're going to have a really hard time denying the reality that you were spoken into existence.
Right.
You're quite literally coded.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, we're coded.
You're coded.
We're programmed. Yeah,
programmed.
By God.
And the way the scriptures describe it is everything was spoken into existence. You mean you can look out in the entire world and see a code. Yep. You
Yeah.
sure can. And you got to literally be like, I mean, to not say everything is intelligently designed.
Right. Yeah.
Let's not get into mathematics, logic, music, any of that crazy stuff that's out there that's just, floating in the nether out there.
Beauty. Love,
Yeah. Beauty. Yeah. Aesthetics, like values. Like that's where we're going to get into values. But come on, bro. Like just look at your body alone. It screams you were made. Screams. It really does. Like,
100%.
it's obnoxious to say you weren't intelligently designed.
Yeah. His response is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's like,
No, and neither are you. And you're like,
yeah.
to me, I'm just like, man, wow. You have such a low view of yourself, Dr. Brad. Like you really do. It's such a low view of humanity,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he would say is more likened with the animals.
Right.
In a sense. Yeah. A lot of atheists, do.
Yeah.
We've come from that. I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast. He was interviewing Shane Gillis, and they're talking about dolphins and some stuff's pretty stupid in terms of the junk they're talking about, like sexual type stuff, in this conversation. But like they're talking as though like we've come from these animals. I'm just like, dude, what?
Dang, bro.
Yeah,
Wow.
like that's pretty wild.
It's pretty far-fetched.
Pretty far fetched. Yeah.
You can't prove that, actually.
No. Nope. So I don't know. Joe Rogan's not there yet, guys.
It's really funny. Sorry, yeah, Joe Rogan's not there. Keep praying for him.
Yeah, pray for the guy.
But yeah. So if you want to jump in, did you have anything else you wanted to?
No, I think it's good. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that.
Yeah. I got a lot of stuff here, guys. Like, man, I'm telling you what, I'm having to really restrain because there's a lot of stuff in here. This is really good. Like,
It's gonna be a 4-hour video.
this is going to be a 4-hour video. Better not be.
Straight. Do you believe in a moral structure that is absolute?
I'm not sure. I struggle with this issue a lot because I don't see any reason that I need God to tell us to be good, but I don't know for certain because I sit there and go, well, wait a minute, how would you know what's good and bad
Very
except
good.
for a feeling in
Now,
your head?
C.S. Lewis's argument as well.
I know.
He
I
said,
read his stuff.
The universe is unjust, but how can I say it's unjust?
Right, exactly. How would you know in the first place?
Right.
But I would say to you, isn't it possible that moral structure doesn't come from God, but is just a product of evolutionary biology?
Right. I would say no, because we wouldn't know if things are getting better or worse. We can see society changing, but we don't know if it's getting
Go ahead and
it's
pause
changing
it.
for the better or the worse. Just because a society seems to be acting better.
Okay, so this is stuff like only adding value to what Mark is saying here. Like I like the direction Mark is going here, but there's a pretty powerful philosophical argument that's just a one step. Sorry, but you don't get that. Like that's not it's not possible. And in philosophy, they say you cannot derive an ought from what is. And so what do I mean by that? Oughts are values, right? It's you ought to do this, ought not to do that. So evolutionary biology, think about this. And once you get this and this clicks for you, it'll be so helpful. It's profound. Evolutionary biology believes that things beget things, beget things, beget things.
Yeah.
What is, it's just an is. Like it's just what is.
A rock.
There is no
This
value.
chair. Yeah.
Yeah. Values never come from what is.
Yeah.
And evolutionary biology believes that something nowhere exploded into something somewhere, made everything everywhere, ordered it, and created values.
Yeah.
That's just impossible. Philosophically, that doesn't work, never will. So what is never creates values. It never ascribes values. Guess what ascribes values? People. And personhood's a value. And so that value came from somewhere.
Right.
It has its root in something. Now, atheists want to say, yeah, well, it's empathy, right? Like that, we can see, value systems, whether they're very like simple or whatnot, in the animal kingdom. And empathy is something, we see expressed by animals. I'm just going to be real with you guys right now. That doesn't help your argument. It
Not at all.
Why? Why doesn't it help their argument?
I mean, animals being empathetic, towards other animals. This was also on the Rogan, thing. They were kind of discussing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it only bolsters the Christian's argument.
Why?
Because animals are made, from God.
You mean animals are built in the value system?
They're built in the value system.
There is a moral fabric to the created order. Is that what you're suggesting?
Right.
Yeah. So not only is it intelligently designed, but there's a moral fabric.
Yeah.
Even the animal kingdom shows and demonstrates that we live in a moral fabric.
Right.
Why is that a problem for Darwinian evolutionists? Because morals, values don't extend from things. Ever. They never will. Clouds don't all of a sudden start valuing the sun.
Right.
I highly value the sun. What? Rocks don't value books.
Yeah. Rocks don't value human beings.
Blades of grass will never be culture builders.
Yeah.
Ever. In a bajillion years. Time isn't the magical formula for everything, right? That's what the evolutionary biologists, they're like, more time. And you're like, yeah, more time, bro. Like, time never fixes that.
Grass won't become dominion builders and start cutting themselves and trimming down themselves.
That's genocide. You're killing all the bluegrass. It's come on, bro. Like, yeah, the things will never value other things ever. So it has to start with a valuer, something that ascribes value to something, and just let that cook around your noodle for a little while, and then you start going, "Oh my gosh, yeah, why have I bought into that for years?" Like, empathy. And what's the other problem with empathy, Greg?
Empathy is, it's the problem with it is you can be lost in the passions, of being empathetic towar's others.
What's that famous the Joe Rigney?
Joe Rigney
gives a really good,
he's a really good example. Yeah, he said the analogy that he used or an example is that apathy is seeing somebody like sinking in the quicksand. Right? They're sinking and you're going, who cares?
Yeah, well,
I'm doing me, dude.
That's their problem.
I'm getting after it over here.
Right, yeah.
That's apathy, right? Empathy is jumping in the quicksand with them.
Yeah.
But what's the result of that?
You both die.
You both die.
Yeah.
You're not helping that person in that sense.
It's because you're now bound up in the emotions of the person. You're literally, the empathy is like feeling within.
You've gotten drunk off of their emotions.
Yeah.
And you're so hammered now off of their emotions, you're jumping in the quicksand with them. And you're no help.
Yeah.
You guys are both gone.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas, proper like biblical compassion would be having, 1 foot on firm ground, right? And maybe even holding that tree, a foot on firm footing and the other foot in the quicksand, drawing them out.
And if I might say, the tethering, the solid ground, is the ultimate truth.
Right.
That's the tethering.
Absolutely.
So what binds the person and gives them the ability to help them is tethered. It's because it's grounded in something.
Yeah.
Empathy is not tethered to anything. So here's what atheists take for granted. They take for granted that they live in God's world. And they start, you've heard this before, borrow capital, where they look around and go, oh, come on, man, empathy, bro, right? Just look around you. Like, it's better to value life, right? It's more productive for all. They start using utilitarian arguments and other things. The thing is what they take for granted is that they lived in the Disneyland Christians created.
They live in Western culture.
They live in Western culture. They live under a protected order. If atheists created the United States, by the way, atheists cannot create the United States. It would never come about in atheism. It would look more like the French Revolution.
Oh,
yeah.
Study that.
Yeah, study that.
The bloody French Revolution.
That was atheism's finest work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you want to see the result of atheism? French Revolution.
Yeah, the French Revolution was, dismantling Christianity, essentially.
Right. Well, they exalted the God of Reason, paraded her to the Cathedral of Notre Dame, I think it was.
Made a statue, yeah.
And then changed the year and changed everything.
Changed the work week.
Yeah,
we are a 10-day work week, something like that. Like
we're completely, abandoning God, and we're getting rid of all that garbage, that religious stuff.
Didn't last too long, guys.
And it was the bloodiest revolution ever in the world's history.
Yep.
because it wasn't tethered to anything.
Right.
It was everybody exalting their own ideals over one another. It was literally the strong survive, right? It was the survival of the fittest, and the one who has the most guns, the most weapons, wins.
Wins, yeah.
And that's the end of atheism, nihilism. Everything is meaninglessness, purposelessness, right? And I'm sorry, that is the end. There is no... You can try all day to talk about empathy as an atheist, and you have to realize that empathy, if you were just being honest with your worldview, isn't tethered to anything.
Right.
It's not tethered to anything. You are literally jumping in to the emotional garbage of the next one.
And their ability even to have any form of empathy or compassion is simply because they're image bearers of God.
That's correct.
Which
they take for granted.
they take that exactly.
Yeah.
100% taken for granted.
Yeah. So Mark uses an entirely different argument here. What Mark is trying to show, I love this, is he's saying you could say that, but the problem is if we're being honest with ourselves, because there's no ultimate standard, we can't know if we're progressing towards anything or digressing. There is no progress or digress.
Right.
Because there's no standard of good. There's no standard of bad. Like there's no, that's right, that's wrong. This is what's true, this is not.
History can't move in any particular direction.
There is no, because there's no way of saying this is positive. This is a good thing. We should be moving toward that. And it's interesting. They'll go, well, harmony. Yeah, but your worldview doesn't encourage harmony. Even from a utilitarian standpoint, because who gets to set the tone or the standard for harmony? Is it just the majority rules?
The individual, basically.
Because they would say social constructs. These are all social constructs, are they?
Yeah.
How are some of those social constructs working out?
And then what happens is you get Marxism. Mm-hmm. The atheist oftentimes will adopt a Marxist social construct.
Sure.
Yeah, where you have the bourgeoisie and the proletariat and, trying to, we see it all over the news.
Right.
Right? The average person, the working man or whatever, like trying to get them to rise up against the system and, in a bad way.
And what's interesting is Marxism was really, it was Marx and
Engel.
Yeah, thank you. Both atheists. And they're trying to advance an economic system that is a just economic system, untethered from ultimate reality. It's why Marxism will never work.
Right.
It's what it is the state becomes God, right? So you're always going to have a God. And then when the political system becomes God, it becomes master over all, and it seeks to bureaucratically control everything. There are just some things in the economic systems, especially in the macro level, that are just completely outside of any government's control. And the moment the government tries to step in and provide controls for it, because they believe that a lot of the injustices that happen in the world have to do with economic imbalance. And I'm not saying that that's not totally true, but it's not just about economic imbalance.
Yeah.
Right? And trying to balance things out that can never be balanced. Like there are just some people who are smarter than other people.
Yeah.
So when you take away the ability to earn and own property, right? You destroy economics.
Yep.
Yeah. When you take away the family and you make society as one collective, which is
the goal of Marxism.
That is
essentially, yeah. That's the goal.
But and they're doing it in the name of equality.
Right.
They know that a family unit is the most powerful center of an economy. You take that away and you make everybody individuals within a bigger collective, you can control them. You have a harder time controlling families.
Right.
Tribes, right? Those sorts of units are hard to control because when they become independent decision makers, or unified decision makers, they become a threat to the big system.
Right.
It's why Marxism will never work, because the basic the basic unit that of any economy that's going to survive and thrive is the family unit.
Yeah.
And then secondly, property.
Which the family owns property, and the family is the means of production.
Those are two things that Marxism wants to destroy. And those are two things that God said, this is very good. Take dominion.
Do this. Yeah.
Take dominion.
Go get after it.
Yeah.
So.
It's not a surprise that that's what Marxism wants to destroy. So that's a completely different subject. But yeah. But I mean, you can see how it goes in line with what's being discussed here. It's a value system. If we divorce ourselves from God's standard, from God's value system, we end up crumbling into the sands of human autonomy.
Right.
Yeah. So if you want to...
Doesn't mean that it is better. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
but what I'm saying to you is the only reason we know what's better and worse is because of a feeling in our heads. Now, you attribute it to some God or the Holy Spirit giving you a conscience.
Sure.
I say that's just a product of an evolutionary biology. And I can prove it because I see lower level species displaying moral behavior.
But that doesn't mean it's a good or bad behavior unless there's an objective, autonomous, foundational basis by which we say something is good or bad.
Absolutely, I agree.
Richard Dawkins says he doesn't believe in evil. Would you agree with that statement?
I still don't know.
Okay.
I still have to remain unknown on it because I struggle a lot. I go, how could you have good without something to tell you what's good?
I think we're getting here somewhere, right? At this point. So you don't know if evil exists or if moral good exists.
Yeah, I struggle with it because I think I should know that, but I don't.
I think you do.
I think I have an inclination in my head, but I have lots of inclinations in my head that could be wrong.
You're demonstrating perhaps.
Stop it.
Inclinations in my head.
Yeah. So when he says that I don't know, then this is devastating for Brad, and I don't think Brad realizes this. And Mark, I like how Mark keeps the conversation going because he could have stopped it right here.
Yeah.
Because Brad, if all we're discussing is inclinations in our head right now, why are you mad, Brad?
Yeah. Just inclinations are going on in my head.
Yeah.
Inclinations in these other heads that people are watching in your head. Who cares?
If Brad believed that that's all, that's the summary of our reality, that you're just an inclination is the product of biochemistry in your body.
Yeah.
That means I'm having those. Many people have used examples of like, if what Brad is saying true, Greg's a bottle of Mountain Dew and I'm a Dr. Pepper, right? Brad's 7 Up.
Varying fizzes.
Yeah, he's 7 Up and Mark Spence is Cherry Coke or whatever, Is that what we are? Is that the total reality of humanity? Here's what's crazy, guys. I love, this is something if you've studied Bonson, he says, I'm listening to what you're saying, but I'm also watching your feet. Does Brad really believe that all morality is an inclination in his head?
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, because Brad, by the way, refuted himself. This is where he is a living, breathing contradiction right here. The moment Brad stepped up to the microphone to start arguing with Mark.
Yeah, with anger.
With anger.
Yeah.
And even to the point where he says, I don't like you, Mark. He lost the argument. It was dead in the water the minute Brad cruised up to the microphone.
Right.
And thought that this conversation, the things that Brad was sharing was meaningful.
Just inclinations in the head.
Yeah.
Fizzes going on here.
He's just got inclinations.
Protons, neurons just firing away.
Just doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just a biochemical soup, dude.
Brad, is that all we are?
Yeah.
Then
who cares?
Why debate?
There's no point.
Yeah. Yeah, in the famous debate with Gordon Stein, Greg Bonson, you guys can look it up. It's called The Great Debate on the Existence of God.
It's excellent.
Amazing. Okay. Bonson tells him he conceded the debate the minute he took the stage.
Yeah.
And the whole crowd starts laughing, right? And it's just, but what a lot of people think okay, man, come on. Did he really? Yes. Because what Gordon Stein and what Brad here are demonstrating is they actually don't believe what they're saying. Which is really wild to think, you guys. When this hit me, when I learned this, and I started paying closer attention to people doing this, it blows my mind wow, that you really are deceived. You absolutely do not believe what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
Because if you really thought hard about it, if you were being what they say, self-consciously, developing an epistemology. If you really were self-consciously aware of the consequences and the conclusions of your worldview, you wouldn't be doing this right now, or you wouldn't be saying this right now.
You wouldn't care
Absolutely.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you really thought long and hard, Brad, like you wouldn't even, you'd just been like, having inclinations right now.
Yeah, just sweet inclinations in my head. Yeah. You care because, Brad, you're an image bearer of God.
That's right.
And that's why you care, but yet you want to suppress the truth and unrighteousness, like Romans 1:18 says.
No, Greg.
Right? Suppressing the truth.
That's just some ancient text, bro. The people trying to control people's minds, man.
Sorry, Brad. Yeah, suppressing the truth and unrighteousness. That's what anybody apart from Christ, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Every time, all the time.
Wild, bro. And he's doing it right here, publicly.
Yeah.
Public record of suppressing the truth and unrighteousness. Public record of self-deception.
100%.
And people look at us, and some atheists, bro, just so scoff at that. They hate that when you say that. And you're like, man, if you were just consistent, you want to talk about rationality. You want to talk about logic. You want to talk about, virtuous thinking and being open to correction. You want to talk about consistency and coherence. And then you do this. And we're just being real with you guys like that. It's evident. It's so obvious that Brad is self-deceived and being deceived. He's like, literally, he's got himself all wound up. And the fact that like he's sitting here arguing just says he doesn't believe what he's arguing for. It's the wildest thing to behold.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. And you go, wow, my heart breaks for this guy. Lord, save him. Save this man.
Yeah, I mean, there's variances of unbelief, right? Like I think of, before I was a Christian, like I still believed in God.
Yeah.
I had an intellectual belief.
Yeah.
Like the demons, even the demons believe and tremble, right?
Yeah. Intellectual.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, intellectual assent. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having that sort of a Brad sort of atheistic view of the world and God.
Yeah.
Just what that does to somebody.
Yeah.
And still like being a functional like citizen in society. I don't understand that personally. Yeah. If I held those beliefs, man, I would not be some functional citizen in society. I'd be getting after it, just a hedonist.
Think about it.
Who knows?
He believes that there's absolute truth. He wouldn't be arguing with Mark.
Right.
I don't know if there is or not. He's mad. Look, he's mad at Mark for holding to a position that says, yes, we believe in absolute truth. Right?
Yeah.
God is the absolute truth. He is the source of all truth.
Yeah, he hates that he's standing on the firm foundation authority.
Can't stand angry. But the thing is Brad just says a moment ago, all we have is our inclinations. If Brad really believed that, he wouldn't even be angry. He'd be like, oh, Mark's just having an inclination that certainty is the thing. I'm having inclinations. It's not.
I'm going to go on about my business and my inclinations and go do my thing.
These are not the droids you're looking for, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what? Move along. Yeah.
Move along.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Who cares?
Do you guys understand that? Like, that's a big deal. Like, it's really, yeah. So, anyway, if we want to keep going. So, think about that. Brad's operating on inclinations, and he's going to keep arguing with Mark. Let's go.
The inclinations we have in our head are not always something we should follow.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
So if you have an inclination in your head that you think comes from the Holy Spirit, could you say, I'm wrong about that,
Yes.
and God isn't telling me anything? Okay,
absolutely.
Good. So then you can be wrong about something.
Yeah, unless it's based on an objective foundation. For example, if I feel like I should steal a ballpoint pen, and I feel like I have an inclination from the Spirit to do that, that would be ridiculous because the Spirit has already spoken in His Word in Exodus 20, saying you shall not steal, right? There's the foundation's already been laid. Now, you agree with me, I would undoubtedly come to the conclusion, that you believe that bashing a 7-year-old's head in for fun in the Darfur region of Africa would be wrong.
Sure.
I
would like to be very precise. I have an urge in my mind that says that should not be permitted.
Are you saying that it might be morally okay?
I don't know. I'm telling you precisely what I know. And to be very precise, my urge in my mind says it's wrong to hurt people.
Okay.
That is as precise as I will go. I'm not going to get pulled into a statement where you try to pull me into something else.
No, I'm trying to understand the position because do you think that rape is not an acceptable behavior? It's not beneficial for a society, perhaps, but it's not evil and wrong. Would that be correct?
I don't know that. My impression is that my inclination in my mind also tells me that that is wrong. But I'd like to be clear. I mean, if we're talking about morals now, I think the Bible is a terrible moral guidebook.
Well, I understand your position because I've read the arguments against Christianity. Have you read the arguments that Christians have against those?
Of course. Can you answer one straightforward one for me then?
I'll do my best.
Deuteronomy chapter 3, they wipe out the entire Amalekite civilization and take their men, women, and children. Is that morally just?
Okay, now how much time do I get to answer that?
As much as you want, buddy.
What is wrong with genocide within your worldview?
Murder.
Within your worldview, right?
Yeah.
I think it's ready to say.
So do you, okay, again, by the way, we're still working on sweet inclinations. And Brad only has inclinations.
Just inclinations.
He doesn't know if things are necessarily right or wrong.
Yeah, he's being completely inconsistent here.
100%. Why is that all of a sudden, whoa, bro?
He's making a value judgment, you know,
About the
based
word
on
of God.
God's word.
And about how God commands the destruction of the Amalekites.
Yeah, the Canaanite conquest.
Yeah. So what, bro? Like, you know?
And I love Mark's response. And this is where, you know, as Christians, we should have a firm grasp on Proverbs 26, right? Which talks about, and a lot of people are confused about this.
I have it.
I was confused about this for several years. You want to go ahead and read it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Proverbs 26, 4. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. And then it goes on to say, but answer a fool according to his folly, lest he be wise in his own eyes.
Right.
Yeah. So do you want to do the start? Yeah. Do you want to break that down?
So the first part was, do not answer a fool
According to his folly,
according to his folly,
lest you be like him yourself.
lest you be like him. Yeah. So like Mark, so the approach with Mark, if he's answering a fool according to his folly, the first one's do not answer a fool according to his folly, right?
You don't want to be like him.
Don't be like him. Yes, you're not gonna adopt his worldview in terms of say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna jump into your worldview, atheist, and I'm gonna argue like you.
Yeah.
No, Mark's standing firm on the biblical worldview, but yet he's answering this fool according to his folly by jumping into his worldview and looking at the direction that it goes.
Yeah.
Right? Or the purposelessness of it.
Yeah.
You know?
If he were to adopt Brad's worldview, right? Like, so this is where Christians get fooled. This is where they get swindled, which is why it's amazing in the Proverbs.
Yeah.
Is that some Christians would respond to Brad and go, yeah, you're right. Like, it is wrong. Genocide is totally wrong, right? And I agree with you, Brad. You know, we shouldn't obviously kill off entire people groups. And what that does is it gives Brad an edge to point at God and say, well, see, here's the biblical text where God commands, you know, which Brad says that they just use that to justify their genocide. God didn't actually command that. That's what all false religions do in the world. And they use religious texts to justify their genocide.
Right.
But what you do is you give Brad grounds to disagree. You actually affirm Brad's disagreement.
100%.
The problem here is that Brad doesn't have any ground to disagree with anything. Like he just said a moment ago, he doesn't.
Right.
He said it himself. Like it would just rewind with the little black and white like Mark does, right?
Yeah.
I'll do that. Like he says,
that is cool.
Yeah, he says, I don't know if there's absolute truth. I think there is out there. I have inclinations, but really at the end of the day, these are just feelings that I have. I feel really strongly that it's wrong to bash a 7-year-old's head into a rock in Darfur, Africa.
Right.
Just because people can't see me doing it.
Yeah, a good response too would be like, you know, okay, yeah, I know the text, yeah, and God,
Yeah.
you know, having the Israelites, you know, wipe out the Amalekites or whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, Brad. I mean, according to your worldview, if it's just inclinations, then who cares?
Yeah, that's what they did.
How can one have a firm, solid foundation when it's just inclinations, your personal inclinations?
Yeah,
you're unwilling to stand on any objective truth.
And all you could do, let's say you're in this time, your time frame. Let's say the Israelites are making everything up. Okay, just uses Brad's argument. Okay, Brad, let's say you're right. There is no God. They made the whole thing up. Okay, and all everybody's working on is sweet inclinations. And you're like, but my inclinations are really strong. You guys shouldn't go wipe out the Amalekites, right?
Right.
And they're like, well, where our inclinations overrule yours, bro.
We have bigger guns.
And get out of our way, we kill you too.
We have giants too.
Yeah. And then when we write in our little holy books Brad was a part of that. Like we wiped Brad out too. Some weirdo trying to get in our way, you know? And you, Brad, you can't say that that's wrong. That's what Mark's getting at here. Like, so, you know, just because you feel really strongly that we shouldn't do that. And then he moves literally from that right to critiquing, you know, the Amalekites. So this is a common atheist argument, like the problem with the Amalekites, right? And I love Mark's response, divine justice. God has the prerogative to command the destruction, not just of the Amalekites, but he takes it a step further. Race. Everyone who has ever cast a shadow on the earth.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah, casting a shadow on the earth. Wow.
And, you know, I have a friend who's writing a book, God Will Kill You.
Yeah.
Like, that's the book. God will kill you. He's going to kill you. He's going to kill all of us, dude. Right? He kills everyone, man. It's not just like wiping people out in the flood as a sign of his judgment. It's not just the Canaanite conquest. It started with Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, man, death and taxes are the only two things that we can really say.
Pretty certain.
Yeah. We're
pretty certain. Yeah. That's going to happen.
Everyone dies. He limited even the man's lifespan after the flood to 120 years. Last time I checked, that's about, that's a little old, dude, these days, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you probably say, it's, Proverbs 26, pretty key text to know and understand.
100%.
When you're dealing with people in the streets, because or talking to your neighbor, your family, your friends.
Yeah.
It's like you can get bombarded and go down all these rabbit trails.
Yeah.
In arguments, but at the same time, it's like don't use their worldview.
Yeah.
When you should be standing on the firm foundation.
Well, here's the deal.
Christianity.
I think the easiest way to think of that text is the first category abandons the biblical worldview and adopts the unbiblical worldview.
The unbiblical, yeah.
The second category of people stand firm in the biblical worldview and critique the unbiblical worldview.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So again, I'll just repeat that. The first category of people abandon the biblical worldview, adopt the unbiblical worldview. And the second category stands firm in the biblical worldview and does a critique or an internal critique of the unbiblical worldview from the biblical worldview.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of worldview.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to be in the second category. You don't want to adopt an unbelieving, God-denying, rebellious worldview. And just, shake hands and like there's some neutrality. Like you're going to be able to take someone. It's like what do they call the evangelism dating? It's like, well,
speed dating, yeah.
Evangelism dating.
Yep.
Like I know they're
missionary dating.
Missionary dating.
Missionary dating, yeah.
I know they're unbelievers, but I'm going to go out with them, and basically it's like adopting their worldview, right? Like I'm going to go be a pagan, and then I'm going to just, sleep with him a few times or whatever, and then hopefully like he comes to faith, right?
Yeah. No, not wise. Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and completely abandon all of my biblical convictions.
Right.
Which sadly is the majority of apologetic approaches these days. But I'm going to abandon all those. And then I'm going to try to swing them over to, but meanwhile, I just destroyed everything. I destroyed every opportunity. And I basically denied the Lord while I did it. Yeah.
That's hardcore.
Lord, I know you say the word is the ultimate authority. But if I got to adopt this unbelieving atheist worldview, he doesn't believe that. And so probably your word is the ultimate authority.
Yeah, probably.
It's about as far as we can get, Lord. Probably. We're like 99.1% sure.
Yeah.
Probably.
When God's word says we can have absolute certainty, right? I think of the text, what is it, 1 John 5:13, I'm writing this to you that you may know that you have eternal life.
Yeah.
Right. And in the Greek, it's like, pretty strong, like certainty. And you can know that you have eternal life. It sounds pretty certain. It doesn't sound like probabilistic.
No.
Just, you can have it.
Yeah, it's yours.
It's yours.
Yeah. Probably the Lord, if we follow him, we can know the truth and set us free. Probably. Anyway, so we should probably finish up.
Maybe probably.
within your worldview.
Murder is wrong.
Why?
Particularly indiscriminate murder is wrong.
Why though?
Yeah.
Because human lives have value.
I agree, but that's my position. My position is that human beings have value as laid out because we are created in the image of God. Now, within an agnostic, atheistic worldview, why do human beings have value?
Because they have awareness of themselves. They have awareness of the world around them. They're able to think about things in a way that a dead body can't. And again, I don't need the Bible to tell me that, right? I can look around and go, these people are thinking people.
The premise is atheists believe that there is evil and good in the world, but they cannot account for evil and good in the world when everything has evolved. That would be my premise. And your response to that would be what, friend?
I'm sorry, you still aren't answering my question. Why are we dancing? I don't understand.
You asked about genocide.
I asked you, do you agree that it's appropriate that God condones genocide? And you seem to be dancing around what I think.
I think it's
want to know what
appropriate
you think, sir.
that God, as the arbiter of the law, who's commanded the death sentence upon every man, woman, and child that has ever brought a shadow to this planet, is going to die under his rule and reign. If you're going to accuse God of wrongdoing, by what foundational basis do you accuse God of wrongdoing? You set yourself up as judge. You say, God is here. What you did was wrong.
Super important.
Now you set yourself higher. By what basis?
I'm sorry, you have a suppressed premise.
Explain.
Your suppressed premise is that you're assuming God actually commanded the Amalekites to do this. I'm saying the Israelites, just like everybody else, in a book written by people, just like everybody else, decide to do this and then justify it in the eyes of other people by saying, God made us do this.
Okay, I want to... So when Brad talks about this suppressed premise so Mark's making the assumption saying, God commands this. He's as the arbiter of the law, as the creator. He has the prerogative to command the wiping out of all people groups.
Right.
Right. And it's
any who cast a shadow upon this earth.
Yeah. I mean, and he is described as using nations to overthrow nations. Israel's history, starting in Judges. I mean, go back to Egypt.
Yeah,
God removes him, the Israelites from Egypt, right, by miraculous means, overthrows the country. Okay, then they go into the promised land. Let's just fast forward in through the Judges period. All through that period, they rebel against God. God brings a nation up until basically is that they're attacking them and destroying them until finally they cry out to God. God delivers them. And it's a repeating theme. And then it gets to the point where Israel is completely, the entire northern kingdom's taken captive by the Assyrians. And it says that in scripture says that the Assyrians were the rod of God's judgment.
Yeah, in the book of Isaiah.
Right.
Chapter 10, he raised up the Assyrians to be against what God calls Israel, a godless nation.
Yeah. And then he uses Babylon.
Yeah.
Right? And then the Medo-Persian Empire. And then, right, and you just keep going throughout the history. By the way, man, like Brad, God's still doing that today. He's doing that very thing today. How much longer, man, just pray for America, bro. America's struggling, dude. But it's like, how much longer can we last in our current state? Like, we're just slaughter unborn children and, let the LGBTQ just run rampant and just keep adding more alphabet to that.
Right.
How much longer can we be a lawless society in the eyes of God and him not raise up another nation to just wipe us off the face of the map? He does that today. So the Amalekites were nothing special. The Israelites, his own people, faced that judgment.
My prayer would be like, Lord, is there 100 righteous amongst us?
Right. Referring to him wiping out Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah.
And his conversation with Abraham. Lord, if there be, 10 righteous?
May I ask again, Lord? Yeah.
Please, Lord, please.
Is there 5 righteous amongst us?
Yeah. Even if there was 10. If there was...
May you save us. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the conclusion to that story is that there was none righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah. God graciously delivered
besides
Lot,
the family of Lot,
his family. But that's it, man. And it says the rain fire down on the Lord, dude.
Yeah.
Wipe that thing out.
God bless America, please.
So sometimes he uses people groups as a rod of judgment. Sometimes he uses miraculous. I mean, sometimes he uses storms and stuff, man. Like earthquakes.
Oh yeah. Trees fall on people.
Polar ice caps, dude.
Tsunamis happen.
Right. Tsunamis happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you think about it, like he uses those means to course correct.
Right.
You know, and so we're just as accountable today as the Israelites were, the Amalekites were. There's no difference. And so then he talks about how, you know, Brad talks about how like they basically, it was just used, the suppressed premise was that people, you know, people throughout history have used religious texts to justify genocide. Yeah.
Which is true.
They
of course.
have, right. One, Brad, that's conjecture, that's what was happening with the Israelites. That's total conjecture on your part. You're assuming that to be the case. You just don't like what the
he's dismissing God saying this is what you guys are going to go and do.
Yeah, the testimony.
It's 100% dismissive of that.
So you have go ahead and do some scholarship around that to say no, God didn't. Well, all right, that's what the testimony says.
Right.
So yeah, and a lot of religious people have used that over the time, and they were wrong. And we can say they were wrong. You can't, Brad. Because it's got inclinations, you know. We're back to the inclination.
Sweet inclinations.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought I'd little caveat there.
We see this all the time today, right? Everybody goes, God made me do this. Certain Muslims kill people. Certain Christians kill people. Certain everybody kills people, and they go, God said so. I'm saying there's no God telling you to do anything.
Well, in order to say there is no God, you have to be all knowledgeable in order to make that claim.
No, I don't think so.
You do. In order to say there's no gold in China, I need to know every square inch of China to say there's no gold in China. My position would be that rape
there with that simple
is a morally evil thing for all people in all places at all times, and I can account for that. I would account for that because the Bible says it is not good for a man to touch a woman in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I would say that we've all broken God's law, the 10 Commandments. We look at the commandments, we see it's wrong to lie, it's wrong to steal, it's wrong to murder, it's wrong to covet. But even if you're not a Christian, you don't think the Bible is God's inerrant word, you can say it's wrong to steal, it's wrong to murder. But my premise would be that you cannot account for that foundation unless you have a foundation. You consider all the worldviews, or the major religions of the world. You have the Hindu scriptures, the Vedas. It says that truth is elusive. It's mysterious. You consider Buddha. He said he's still searching for the truth. Muhammad, if you're a Muslim here today, he said that he points to the truth. But Jesus never once said that truth was elusive, mysterious, hard to find. He never said that he pointed to the truth or that he was still searching for the truth. He said, I am the way, I am the truth, and I'm the life. And then he said, no man comes to the Father but through him. So now the question is, what is this news, this good news, this truth about Jesus being the way, the truth, and the life? It's called the gospel. It's the good news that God became a man in the person of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. That if we
okay, this is it. This is as far as I wanted to go.
Yeah.
What's important here is to look at it. Okay, look what Mark just did right here. This is the whole point. Mark is out there. Mark is to demolish all arguments that exalt itself above the wisdom of God, stand firm in the truth, and preach the gospel.
Yeah.
And if you notice, what text did he refer to? That Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And the only way to the Father is through him. And that was his ground for the gospel. So in a sense, like if you're denying the absolute truth exists, you're denying the existence of the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He is the truth, the way, the life.
I mean, and he took the argument with Brad, I think, maybe as far as it's going to go. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like he's unwilling to even agree to these claims, right? When he uses the golden China, thing, and you have to be all knowing to know there is no God, kind of thing, and Brad's dismissive of that.
Well, the problem with this is where I say he's not an atheist who's like a true seeker, in the sense like I'm an atheist because I don't know yet. He's a chosen. A true atheist, which is he's saying, I know there is no God.
Yeah.
That's the stupidest thing you could say.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
Bible says a fool says in his heart there is no God. And it's not like
He ain't saying it's hard, dude. Right? That dude's lipping it out loud.
out loud. Yeah. And the thing is that
Stephen Charnock says we've come a long way. The men aren't saying in their hearts anymore. They're now saying it out loud.
they are saying it out loud. And for him to say that, you have to realize, like, from a rational standpoint, just pure rationality, that, like, Mark uses the example of golden china. Like, there is no golden china, right? It's like, oh, have you been everywhere at once, all times perfectly in China?
Right. Answer?
No. Okay, so have you been everywhere once at all time perfectly eternally? Are you all knowing? All powerful? You must possess the attributes of God in order to prove God doesn't exist.
Right.
To say emphatically, by the way, like that, what an arrogant statement. What a stupid statement, by the way. And then when the Bible says that, like a fool says in his heart, there is no God. It's a moral indictment.
Right.
It's not just calling them names. It's a moral indictment.
Yeah. Yeah. Fool's not name calling. It's just, that's what God calls people who are like this.
Yeah.
Fools.
They're corrupt in every way, it says.
Right.
Yeah. And you can only imagine what this guy has got going on in his personal life. What a disaster. Yeah.
There's no eat, drink, and be merry apart from Christ.
Nope.
Right. Your world is absolutely chaotic and disrupted.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, in Ecclesiastes, it says that God gives us the power to enjoy our life, to enjoy our families, our work, our food.
Right.
You're denying the existence of the Creator who gives you the power to enjoy everything. Yeah.
Unbelievers cannot enjoy what we enjoy, as Christians.
No.
Only the power of God.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing from God.
Yeah.
And even some Christians really struggle. It's like they lack that blessing.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's all I have. We love you, Mark. We thought that was awesome. Appreciate you, bro. And
for those who don't know, Mark was his old pastor.
Yeah, Mark was my old pastor. Yeah, and I really have a lot of respect for Mark. Appreciate that man, and he's been such a blessing in my life, and just such a model, a biblical example of what it means to be a great husband, a father, and just a mentor. Just someone who has been an example from afar.
Yeah.
And I've just watched this man like just walk faithfully and be a faithful witness for Christ for so many years now. It's just such an encouragement to me.
Praise God.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, like and subscribe to his channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go check out Living Waters.
Good stuff.
And go check out Mark Spence's channel. He has a personal channel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm good, man.
Peace.
All right.